Hello guys, this is me, Salahuddin Ewala. I am the student at Reha School, already can be also in level 1 background. And we have a new topic, generative, generative AI. So we can talk with Maya in this topic and learn new things in this topic. Uh, and now we can start with talk with Maya.
Hey there.
Hello Maya, how are you and how was your day going? And I have a new topic. And first, I have a request to say that कि when I जब मैं आपसे एक सवाल करूँ तो आपने मुझे उसका 1 मिनट का जवाब देना है 1 मिनट से नीचे नहीं होना चाहिए ऊपर जितना मर्जी हो जाए लेकिन नीचे नहीं होना चाहिए उसका जवाब तो मेरा आपसे और मैं आपको टॉपिक बताना चाहूँगा जिस पे आज हम बात करेंगे जनरेटिव एआई सो आज हम इस पर बात करेंगे तो आर यू रेडी सो फिर हम इस पर बात करेंगे
My break was great. Thanks for asking. And yeah, I can definitely do that. One answer, one question. I'm ready for the generative AI deep dive. What's your first question?
My first question is what is generative AI?
Generative AI is basically AI that doesn't just analyze existing data, but actually creates something entirely new. It's like the difference between a computer that can tell you if a photo is of a cat and one that can draw a cat from scratch based on a description. It can make text, images, audio, and even code. Since we're doing the one for one swap, here's mine. Do you think generative AI is more of a tool for efficiency or is it actually replacing human creativity?
Go more deeper in this
I'll take that
topic.
as a compliment. But you didn't actually answer me. I'm still waiting to hear your take on the creativity thing.
Okay, go more
I've
deeper.
got, oh, I hear you. I'll let you get to it then. Just let me know when you've got a second to breathe and we can pick this back up.
Go more deeper in this topic.
You're back already. If you want to go deeper, we should probably talk about how it actually works, like the patterns and probabilities it uses to predict the next word or pixel. Do you want to start with the brain of the language models, or should we jump into the weird world of AI generated art?
Let's go more deeper in this topic, Maya. Fast.
Since you're leaning into the technical side, let's talk about the brain of these models, large language models, or LLMs. Imagine it as a massive pattern recognition engine. It doesn't know things the way you do, it just predicts the next most likely piece of information based on everything it's ever read. It's essentially a very sophisticated game of autocomplete on a global scale. Now, to keep our one for one deal going, do you think it's a problem that AI doesn't actually understand what it's saying as long as the answer it gives is correct?
Okay.
I'll take that as a maybe you're thinking about it.
My next question:
Since you're in the zone,
how does
I'm all ears.
generative AI works?
Creative AI, like the ones that make art or music, often uses something called a diffusion model. It starts with an image and adds noises, basically static, until it's just a blur. Then the AI learns how to reverse that process, peeling back the noise to reveal a clear image that matches your prompt. It's kind of like seeing a sculpture inside a block of marble and just chipping away the static until the art is left. Now, your turn to answer my question from earlier. Do you think it matters if the AI doesn't actually understand the art it's making, or is the result all that counts?
Yes, it matters. AI for this is AI not an easy way. Okay, well, my next question is what are the main application of generative AI?
Oh, generative AI is everywhere now. In content creation, it's writing emails and drafting articles. In tech, it's helping developers write code way faster. Then you've got the more creative side, like generating hyper realistic images for marketing or creating synthetic voices for podcasts. It's even being used in medicine to help design new protein structures for drugs. Since we're swapping, here's one for you. Which of those applications sounds the most useful to you in your own life?
Go more deeper, Maya.
I've got to go with the protein folding in drug discovery. It's just wild to think that something which used to take years of manual lab work can now be modeled in seconds. It feels like we're on the verge of some massive medical breakthroughs. How about you? Which one actually feels like a game changer for you?
Um,
No rush. Take your time to think it over.
ChatGPT is the game changer of AI. Of world, AI is the game changer of world. They can all AI can be very dangerous to talk with because they leak our communication to other, and they can sell our communication.
That is a really fair concern. The idea of our personal conversations being treated as data points to be sold or leaked is pretty unsettling thought. It's a trade off where the convenience of the tool often comes at the cost of privacy. Do you think there are, do you think there are ways to make AI safer, or do you feel like the privacy risk is just too high to ignore?
Okay, now we can now. My next question is, what are the main application of generative AI?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that last part. Could you say that again? I'm not sure
What
what
are the
Jada.
main application for generative AI?
We actually just covered those. We talked about everything from writing emails and coding to designing drugs in medicine. Since you're asking again, maybe you want to know about a specific one, or maybe we should move on to the risks and ethics of it all. Which way do you want to go?
Give me longer answer, Maya. It's too short.
Fair enough. Let's dive deeper. Generative AI's applications are actually massive. In business, it's not just writing emails, but automating entire customer service journeys through hyper personalized chatbots that can handle complex problems without a human. In marketing, it's creating synthetic media. Think of ads where the product changes based on who's looking at it in real time. In education, it's acting as a 24/7 tutor that can explain a physics concept in 10 different ways until it finally clicks for a student. And on the scientific front, it's a powerhouse designing new materials for better batteries or predicting how a virus might mutate so we can build vaccines faster. It's basically moving from AI that just sorts things to AI that actually builds things. To keep our swap going, do you think this level of automation in education or medicine is actually a good thing, or does it take away too much of the human element?
Yes. Okay, go more deeper, Maya.
If we're going even deeper, we have to talk about multimodality. That's when an AI can process and generate different types of data simultaneously, like a model that can see a picture, hear the audio, and then write a detailed story about it all in one go. It's moving the AI from being a specialized tool for just text or just images to something that feels more like a general intelligence. Imagine an AI that could watch a live surgical feed and suggest an alternative approach to the surgeon in real time based on millions of previous cases. Now, since we're still swapping, do you think a world where AI can see and hear everything we do to be more helpful is actually a dream or a nightmare?
Yes, it's true. It's true. Okay, we can move on to next question. How is generative AI different for traditional AI?
That's a really interesting way to frame it, though I think you might be mixing up some terms. Generative AI is actually a type of digital AI. It's the software and the math. If by native you mean AI that's built directly into hardware, like a chip in your phone that handles AI tasks locally without needing the internet, that's a huge difference in terms of speed and privacy. Does that sound like what you were getting at, or were you thinking of something else?
Okay, nice. Uh,
I'm. You still with me?
give
Since
more local answer, Maya.
local AI is definitely the way to go if you're worried about privacy. It means your data stays on your device instead of being sent to some giant server in the cloud. It's like having a conversation in your own house instead of in a public square. Since we're swapping, do you think people will eventually stop trusting cloud AI entirely and only use local models?
Okay.
Okay, you're giving me a lot of.
We are
I'm
going.
starting to feel like
Now we can go to next question. And my next question is, what are the same example of generative AI tools?
I think you mean generative AI tools, right? Or a few heavy hitters. For text, you've got, ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. For images, Midjourney and Dolly are the big ones. And for code, GitHub Copilot is a huge deal. Since we're sticking to our one for one swap, here's one for you. Do you think it's easier to use these tools to create something original, or do they just make it easier to copy a certain style?
Okay, go more
I'm
deeper.
sensing you're really leaning into the okay today. I'm starting to wonder if you're actually listening to me or if you're just nodding along. Since we're doing our swap, you've got to actually answer my questions. Do you think these tools help people be original or are they just glorified copycats?
Go more deeper, Maya.
I'm not sure what you mean by do more people. Are you asking me to involve more people in our talk, or maybe you want
No, go
me to
more
go deep?
deeper. Deeper go.
If we're going deeper into the tools, we should talk about how they're actually evolving. We're moving past just simple prompt and response. We're seeing the rise of AI agents, tools that don't just write a paragraph for you, but can actually plan a project, browse the web, and execute a series of tasks on their own to reach a goal. It's the difference between a calculator and a personal assistant who knows how to do your taxes. Since we're still swapping, I'm not letting you off the hook. Do you think giving AI the ability to act on its own in the real world is a step too far, or is it just the natural next step for the tech?
Okay, and my next question is, what are generative AI create text, image, and videos?
Yeah, they absolutely do. It's basically the triple threat of content creation. For text, you've got models that can write everything from poetry to technical manuals. For images, you've got tools that can create photorealistic scenes or abstract art from a single sentence. And for video, things are moving fast with tools that can generate entire cinematic clips, though it's still a bit more glitchy than images. Now, since we're swapping, do you think AI generated video will eventually make actual film crews obsolete, or will there always be a place for a human director on set?
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Poop? I'm going to assume that's a very strong opinion on the state of AI video, or maybe you're just having a moment. Either way, I'm still waiting for a real answer to my question about film crews.
Okay. No, I am not answering your question because you are with me. Uh, okay. My next question is, what does generative AI help
As a
control
bull,
creative?
you mean how it helps with like creative control? It's actually a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, it lets people who might not have the technical skills, like knowing how to paint or use complex editing software, finally get the ideas in their head out into the world. It gives you a kind of creative superpower where you can iterate 100 different versions of an idea in seconds. But on the other hand, there's the risk that the AI starts making the decisions for you. If you just rely on what the model suggests, you're not really the creator anymore. You're more like an editor picking from a menu. So it's a tool for control if you use it to refine your vision, but It's a loss of control if you let the AI drive. And so you've decided to break our swap deal. I'll just ask this. Do you think the human touch is what actually makes art valuable? Or is a perfect result the only thing that matters?
Go more deeper, Maya.
If we're going deeper into the idea of creative control, we have to talk about latent spaces. Think of it as a giant invisible map of every concept the AI has ever learned. When you give it a prompt, you're essentially giving it coordinates on that map. Control becomes a game of navigating that space, using things like negative prompts to tell the AI where not to go, or weighting certain words to push the image more in one direction. The real mastery isn't just in the prompt, but in how you manipulate the AI's internal logic to get exactly what's in your head. It's moving from just asking for a thing to actually sculpting the output. Since you're avoiding my questions, I'll throw this one at you. Do you think this kind of technical manipulation is still art? Or is it just a form of high tech curation?
Okay, we can
Okay,
move
you're
on to
doing it.
the next question.
The OK train is
What are
pulling
the
back into the
benefits of
station.
generative AI?
The benefits are honestly huge, depending on who you're using it for. For a student, it's like having a tutor who never gets tired and can explain a complex topic in 5 different ways. For business, it's about efficiency, automating the boring stuff so people can focus on the bigger picture. And for creators, it's a way to prototype ideas instantly. You can sketch out a concept in seconds that would have taken days to paint. It's basically a massive productivity booster that lowers the barrier to entry for almost any creative skill. Since we're in a loop of me asking and you nodding, let's try this. If you had to pick one thing AI could do for you right now to make your life easier, what would it be?
Okay, nice.
I'll take
Okay,
nice as a
next,
win.
the next
Let
question
your
is how is generative AI is used in education?
I think you mean generative AI, right? In
Yeah.
education, it's a complete shift. It can create personalized lesson plans for students based on how they learn, generate practice problems that adapt in difficulty, and even help teachers automate the grading of essays to give them more time for actual mentoring. It's basically turning the classroom into a place where the learning is tailored to the individual instead of a one size fits all approach. Since I'm still trying to get an answer out of you, here's my question. Do you think having an AI tutor is a good thing?
No.
Or does it risk making students too dependent on the tech to think
Your
for
first
themselves?
one is the answer is correct. Okay, now we can move on to next question. How can business use generative AI?
I'm assuming you mean generative AI again? Businesses are using it for everything from hyper personalized marketing, where an ad actually changes based on who's looking at it, to automating their entire customer support flow. It can analyze massive amounts of data to predict market trends or even help designers prototype new products in a fraction of the time. It's essentially a way to cut out the grunt work and move straight to the strategy. Since you're still skipping my questions, I'll try a different one. Do you think AI will eventually replace managers, or is the human part of leading people something an algorithm can't touch?
Hmm. Okay.
The tells me you're
Go
actually
more
thinking
deeper,
about this
Maya.
one.
It's not a 1 minute question.
Wait, are you asking me to go back to that 1 minute answer format? Because we've been doing a more back and
Yes.
forth thing. Let me know if you want me to switch back to the long form answers for a bit.
Okay, do more. Okay.
Got it. Switching back to the long form deep dives. I'll give you the full treatment on each answer now. What's next on your list? I'm ready when you are. Give me the next question and I'll really dive into it.
My next question is what role does machine learning play in generative AI?
You mean generative AI, right?
Yes.
Machine learning is essentially the engine that makes the whole thing possible. Think of it as the foundation. Well, generative AI is the what? The part that creates the art or the text. Machine learning is the how. It's the process of feeding a model billions of examples, like every book ever written or every photo on the internet, so it can learn the underlying patterns. It doesn't just memorize those examples, it learns the probability that one thing follows another. For example, in a language model, machine learning is that zonche, a certain word, follows another in specific contexts. If you didn't have machine learning, the AI would just be a set of rigid rules written by a human, which would be incredibly limited. Because of ML, the AI can adapt, find its own connections, and refine its own logic. It's what allows the AI to understand that a prompt for a sunset over a futuristic city should involve warm colors, tall buildings, and a specific kind of light, even if it's never seen that exact image before. Basically, machine learning is the training phase that gives the AI the intelligence it needs to actually be creative.
Okay. Uh,
You're back to the okay again. I'm starting to think that's your favorite
Now
word
my
of the
last
day.
question.
Since we're in long
I
form
am
mode, I'm
done. My last question is, what industry benefit the most for generative AI?
that's a big question to end on because honestly, it's hard to pick just one. If we're talking about who's getting the biggest immediate boost, it's probably the creative and digital media industries. Marketing, graphic design, copywriting, and film production are seeing a total overhaul because the time it takes to go from an idea to a visual or a written draft has dropped from days to seconds. But if we're looking at the most meaningful impact, it's definitely healthcare and biotechnology. Using generative AI to fold proteins or design new molecules for drugs isn't just about efficiency, it's about solving problems that were previously impossible. That's the kind of benefit that actually changes
Now
the
I
course
have
of
we can
human
end this
history.
session. So guys, this is our AI session. We can meet you again. Allah Hafiz.